Thank you, Rob. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. As Rob was saying, my name is Stephen, and I am the Assistant Director of the Duke Summer College for High School Students and Duke Summer Academy for High School Students programs. And I am joined by Dr. Nikki Charles, who is the Director of our programs. So we'll be speaking with you today about how best to advise your students about summer opportunities. Okay, so why is it important that you advise students as they navigate the process of looking for a summer program? Programs that offer credit and programs that do not offer credit fulfill different purposes and offer different experiences. One program may, depending on the strengths and interests of the student, simply be more suitable to what their goals are and what they hope to accomplish. So it's important that you, as advisors, help students know which type of program is going to best fit their needs and help them determine the differences between these programs to know what's best for their goals. Okay, so although it may appear as if credit programs and programs that do not offer credit are comparable, there are important differences that students, parents, and counselors need to be aware of. So for credit-bearing programs, it's important to know if a program is going to offer substantive coursework with sufficient contact hours and meeting frequency to fulfill a full semester's worth of study. So many programs may say that they offer on-campus college experience, summer experience, and a summer academic experience, but it may simply be a one-week course. And this will not really be sufficient to allow the students to have an authentic university summer school experience. So a few questions that students should keep in mind as they're exploring their options are: who are the instructors? Are they going to be faculty members that are associated with the university that houses the program? Or are they going to come from outside and be leaders in their fields? How long will students be in class, and how often will class meet? This is important since this will allow students to know if they will be getting an authentic college experience. So, for example, at our Duke Summer College for High School Students program, students will enroll in an actual Duke summer course with other Duke undergraduates. Now, these will be courses that are for Duke undergraduates. They're actual summer courses. So this means that they will be in class 2 hours per day, 5 days a week, and plus we would offer 2 hours of additional support each day to help guide the students through the challenges of enrolling in a college level class. So kind of to provide them with that extra support. Is the program, are the courses going to be specifically for college students? As I said before, they're going to be high school students for high school students. And as I mentioned with our programs, they will be enrolling in a regular undergraduate course. So that's an important characteristic that students need to keep in mind. And will they receive an actual transcript from the university? Okay. So regarding the application process itself, some of the things that students and advisors and parents are going to want to keep in mind are what are some of the important questions that they should be aware of when looking at credit-bearing programs. So we would want them to look into the program selectivity. Are they going to need to submit application materials and make a case for themselves as worthy candidates in which we will examine their overall qualifications to be part of the program? So, for example, their accomplishments, grades, etc. Or will it be more of an open enrollment in which they are free to sign up for courses or for the program on their own? As you might suspect, a credit-bearing program is going to be more selective and is going to look at non-credit programs that may offer open enrollment. Okay, so here are some examples of what students need to be prepared for as they look at the application for credit programs. So Many programs are going to have an application fee. So, for example, ours is going to be $50 application fee for U.S. students and $100 for international students. They should also be prepared to submit an essay. So we look for a few things in our applicants' essays. We want to see them make a good case for themselves to show why this program is a good fit for them and why they are interested. We also want to see that they have the ability to write at the college level, since they'll be entering a program that will not make special concessions for them simply because they're high school students. They're enrolling in Duke University level classes. So in fact, if we receive an essay that we believe is weak, we don't hesitate to contact the student to ask him or her to try again. We want the application process to be part of the learning experience, so that they will have an idea of what to expect when they start applying to degree-seeking programs. So as I said, we may actually contact a student saying, we'd like you to give your essay another try, and this often surprises students, but again, it goes back to our philosophy of making sure that the learning process begins even before they join us on campus. We would also look for brevity in an essay, and this is something that can also come as a surprise to students who often think that longer is better. This is something that is a real challenge, I think, when you enter college, is that you learn that being concise is often more challenging than writing something very long-winded. So we do seek brevity. We look for brevity in our students' essays. Are they going to be able to make a case for themselves quickly and clearly? We also would want to see a resume. So we look for a few specific things in the resumes that students submit. We want to see examples of leadership. Okay, so have they joined and led a club in high school? Are they, for example, captain of a sports team or a debate team or a quiz bowl? What kinds of awards have they received? Have they been involved in extracurriculars such as athletics, math clubs, etc.? And also, what kind of community service have they been involved with? How have they given back to the community? And we want to see this information in concise bullet points. So we don't need them to submit a video of their dance competition or play they were in or anything like that, a video of them performing a song they wrote. We just want them to be able to submit a concise and clear resume that gives us an impression of the characteristics that I just mentioned. High school transcript is also something that's very important as part of the application process. Now, we would not require that the transcript be official, but we do want to see that the transcript provides a clear summary of their grades, and it's very helpful that if that transcript were to have their GPA on it as well. For test scores, we actually do not require that students submit standardized test scores, but it's useful to have. I mean, it gives us a better idea of the student's academic ability and aptitude. So it's very useful to have the SAT, the PSAT, the ACT, for example, or state-level standardized test score. But as I said, we don't require it, especially since not all students may have had the chance to take these sorts of tests. A teacher recommendation form. Teacher recommendations are very important. We only ask for one, and that's really all we want to see. Students, again, often think that more is better, so they might submit 5 or 10 recommendation letters, but we're still only going to look at one of these, since reading all of these extra recommendation letters that they submitted would put the other students who follow the directions at a disadvantage. And so again, it goes back to the application process being part of the learning process. So it's important that they learn to follow instructions, since their applications to colleges and universities might be very similar to this. And so speaking of recommenders, we want to see someone who can speak well of the student's strengths and weaknesses. So this could be a teacher who actually has taught them in a class. It could be a counselor, for example, or anyone, like I said, who can speak to the student's abilities. And then language proficiency. This is for, as you might suspect, students whose first language is not English. We would want to see an assessment of their abilities, so we might know, how they might work in an English-speaking classroom, how well they might be able to participate.
Hey, Stephen, this is Nikki. Before we pop on to the next slide, I'm just going to step in and add a couple of points to that. One of the things I wanted to mention was that our goal of our application process is to make sure that we're not only setting students up for success in the classroom, but it also provides information for us to make the best match to the students' experience and skills to the class that they want to take. We'll take a look at their transcript, for example, and look at, well, they might have a GPA of 3.7, but they're taking all of these AP courses. It might give us a chance to see the kind of experience they may have in a particular topic, so that if they want to choose, I don't know, maybe game theory, but they don't have much math or economics, it helps us then to guide them toward a course where they'll have the highest level of success. And the final point has to do with language proficiency. One of the points about Duke University that we really have strived for is to create an international population. We have a population of about half the students that come from international locations, and about half the students come from the U.S. What's exciting about this is that a student can come to Duke, experience the college campus, and also experience an environment that's very international.
Well, thank you, Nikki. Before I move on to talk about personal enrichment programs, just a few quick points about programs that are credit-bearing. Many students and parents might assume, and we've certainly heard this, that doing a program like this might be a kind of quote-unquote backdoor entrance to the university, or that it's somehow going to give them special, they would be able to receive special consideration for admission to the university. And it's important that students and parents and counselors understand that this is not the case. This is not the point of these sorts of programs. They do not guarantee access to a degree-seeking program or admission to the university that hosts the program. Students need to understand that they are there to gain knowledge and experience on how to prepare themselves for college. And certainly admissions offices like to see this kind of thoughtful preparation, but it is not entrance to the university, degree-seeking to a degree-seeking program at the university. And these sorts of programs help students gain knowledge and confidence to prepare themselves, and this is going to be one of the primary purposes of these programs. So it's important to keep this in mind and make sure that students and parents understand this. The top 10 schools such as Harvard, Stanford, Cornell, Duke, etc., who host these types of programs meet once a year to discuss the aims and goals that we have and seek to learn from each other about how we can provide students with an optimal and successful experience. Okay, so switching gears now to talk about programs for personal enrichment, programs that are that do not offer credit. Students interested in these programs are often should look for, and should expect to find opportunities where they will be able to have an educational experience that's both fun, that is fun and exciting. They'll have a fun, exciting, and enlightening summer that will allow them to explore their talents, their interests, their passions, and will give them the opportunity to explore diversity, a diverse work within a diverse group of peers, and make friends from across the country, around the world. These sorts of programs really give students the opportunity to stand out as individuals. Many of them might be coming from schools where they are simply just a face in the crowd, very, very large public schools where they may not have the opportunity to stand out and to express themselves, whereas on an enrichment program they can really be free to express themselves, to kind of reinvent themselves, and kind of have a holistic experience over the summer for both academically and with recreational activities as well. So there are many questions that students and parents should be asking as they prepare to participate on, or as they prepare to apply to a program that is meant for personal enrichment, one that's not going to offer academic credit. Again, students, often students have, and they should have, a strong interest in learning, but they want to be free of the pressures of exams and assessments. There needs to be a balance between academics and recreation, and it is very important that these sorts of programs do not treat recreation as simply an afterthought. Many of the same questions that you might ask for a for-credit program, a credit-bearing program, should also be asked for these sorts of programs as well, these personal enrichment non-credit programs. So details on the university, where are they going to live? Will they be required to live on campus? Are there commuter options? And there may be, depending on the program. It's also important that, and students are encouraged to research these programs to learn about the instructors and the camp leaders. Who are they? How is it going to be different from being in school during the academic year? They should expect to have the freedom to explore their own interests that they may not have during the academic year, when academic pressure, such as with the exams and assessments and standardized tests, may be very great. They may not have the opportunity to kind of express themselves and pursue passions and recreational activities, and these sorts of programs should be an opportunity for students to do that. And of course, as with all summer programs, whether it's for credit or a non-credit bearing program, safety is going to be of utmost importance, and so it's crucial that students and parents be aware of the safety measures that are in place. Who's going to be taking care of the students while they're on campus? What kind of risk management do they have on the program? And just being straightforward with costs as well. Is there financial aid? Making sure that there are no hidden fees in the program that they're looking at. And then again, what are the admissions requirements? Making sure that they explore the admission requirements just as students applying to a credit-bearing program would. So at Duke, we offer several different programs, and I have a website here. A couple of websites here you might want to make note of. The first one, the summersession.duke.edu high school students, is the programs that I work with, that Nikki and I work with. These are the Duke Summer College for High School Students program and the Duke Summer Academy for High School Students program. So please take a look and look at the different opportunities that we have. And then the second link here, learnmore.duke.edu youth. These are going to be our youth programs. A little bit different from the programs that are outlined in the first link. But both of these websites will provide you with a wealth of information on the types of programs that we offer here at Duke University. And so we'll be happy to take questions from you, and you may also want to make note of my contact information. Again, my name is Stephen Dell, and my number is here on the slide. It's 919-684-3148, and you can see my email address is down there as well. So thanks again for joining us. We hope we provided you with an enlightening experience. We hope we answered questions that you might have, and that we've given you the opportunity to better advise students as they prepare to look at summer programs. So again, feel free to ask questions. We'll be happy to answer them.
Great, thanks, Stephen. Thank you, Nikki. So this is Rob again. So yeah, if you have any questions for our presenters, please chat them into your GoToWebinar control panel, and we'll fire away. First question is, do you have any recommendations for high-achieving students from low-income backgrounds? Some summer programs are expensive, and many families cannot afford them even with levels of financial aid. Is there an alternative summer experience students can utilize for their resumes if they cannot afford these programs?
If you look back at the, let me go back here. If you can see on this website, the second link we have here that I have listed here for certain Duke programs these are examples of programs that would be able to offer some financial assistance. Not all programs out there are going to be able to offer this. So it's important that students do research and parents do research to find out what kind of financial aid or scholarships might be available.
Great, thanks.
So that's the Learn More.
Yes,
the Learn More, yeah. And those are our youth programs. The director of that program, Thomas Patterson, would welcome an opportunity to explain those programs, answer any questions, and there is some limited financial aid available for those programs.
Yes, there's a question, will we have access to the PowerPoints as well? So yes, we'll go ahead and share this PowerPoint with everyone and send this out to all of our attendees as well as registrants for the presentation.
Great.
Next question. My students feel immense pressure to show engagement and learning in summer for highly selective college admissions. I often feel they are on an academic treadmill all year and then feel they must continue in summer as well. What do you feel about online courses to reflect summer learning, like MOOC, Coursera, other online courses? I know it fulfills a different purpose, but what are your thoughts on these?
You know, I can speak maybe more clearly about the types of programs that we work with that are on campus. I actually do not have a whole lot of experience with these online courses, but you know, if students are going to want to gain an experience of being on a college campus, these sorts of on-campus programs are going to provide you know, a very rich opportunity for that. And we try to make sure that, as I said in my presentation, that you know, recreation is not an afterthought, so that students do get a holistic approach, that students do get a balanced approach, so that they can both learn what you know, what a college experience is going to be like, as well as, you know, have the opportunity to kind of blow off steam and maybe engage more with the campus community.
Yeah, and I'd like to add that one of the reasons we added our Summer Academy to our Summer College for High School Students program is very much for that reason. The Summer College program, the students are enrolled in a due class. With Summer Academy, they have the opportunity to explore leadership and global citizenship, to create the network with their global peers from around the world, to have a wonderful summer opportunity without that academic pressure of the grade, of you know, the homework outside of class. The other thing that we know as far as admissions to colleges or top universities, is that admissions counselors are looking for a constellation of activities around a passion. So my opinion about taking a whole bunch of online classes or busying oneself with coursework, if it's not directly related to the passion of the student, to what they want to do with their life, what their vision is, I don't find that as useful as if they were to spend that time perhaps doing some volunteer work around their area of passion.
Thank you. Next question. Do students have the ability to speak to faculty outside of class, either with general questions or specific questions about the classwork itself?
Yes. College professors will have office hours, and they will make themselves available to students to come and discuss their concerns, kind of help them with any questions they might have about the content of the course. And I think, you know, we get a lot of students in our programs who are from overseas, and this may not necessarily be the case, for example, in China, where there might be a lot more distance between professors and students. But in American institutions, it's pretty much a requirement that professors make themselves available to students in office hours. So yes.
So, you know, one of the things that some of our students did that was really cool last summer is they took the opportunity of being on the Duke campus to go and speak to different departments. You know, one of the students was interested in soccer, And he took an opportunity to go over and speak to the folks in that department. Not only do we encourage the students to explore the campus as a student, but also to look into areas that they may be interested in and make those connections and that networking option.
Thank you. How about overnight supervision, adult supervision during the evening at summer programs for high school students? What does that consist of?
Well, with our programs, students are living on the campus in a Duke University dorm, and we have RAs who live in the dorm as well. The on-site director, which is me, I will also be living in the dorm, and we have about, I think for every 12 students, we have one RA. And we regulate, student activities both on and off campus. Students will have we don't keep them on a very short leash. We do want them to be able to explore the campus, and we do allow them to a certain extent to go off the campus with limitations, but student safety is our number one priority, and so we do keep a close eye on the students, and we make sure that their evenings are filled. We make sure that when they're not in class, that there is an activity on most evenings that will keep them occupied.
And that actually leads into a similar question in terms of activities outside of the classroom. Are there any, both for the Duke programs as well as your summer programs in general, are there typical activities that students engage in, structured activities outside the classroom?
Yes, that is a very common feature of these sorts of programs, and of course with ours as well. So we don't just keep them on the campus the entire summer. They will have the opportunity to explore, to go off the campus, explore the community, maybe even going beyond just the local community. So yes, we do have activities like that, and that's a very useful and important feature of these sorts of programs.
I'll jump in there. One thing that we've learned with our high school students is that, as Stephen mentioned, we don't keep them on too tight of a leash, too short of a leash, and the reason for that is we find when we treat the high school students as responsible young adults with some parameters for safety, they respond as responsible young adults. If we treat them with a 24-hour hand-holding supervision, we tend to see that these students will want to kind of break out of that type of supervision. So we adopt an active observation model where we are sure to observe symptoms of any potential behaviors that might be of concern. We also create this great world of activities that are pretty fun and pretty structured. I would encourage the group to take a look at the blog that we have available. The blog is written by students from the 2013 program, and it's in the Students' Own Words. They talk about the academic and the residential opportunities that they had while on campus.
Great, thank you. Last question in the queue, so if there are any more questions, please, now is the time to ask them. This question asks, do you have any favorite websites or portals that you suggest or tools that you suggest students or parents use as they're researching and searching for various summer opportunities?
Many universities offer these sorts of programs. I mentioned, that there is, the top 10 universities, top 10 colleges. We meet each year to discuss our goals. So, online is, always just one of the best places to start. They should feel free to contact their student counselors on their high school campus. Many counselors will have access to this sort of information. They can often point them in the right direction. They may have hard copy pamphlets, that sort of thing, that students can hold in their hands and look at. There are often fairs that educational institutions will put on, so students can actually go and speak with someone who will lead or someone who represents the program, someone who might lead the program, or even past participants on the program, so they can get kind of a have a first-hand opportunity to speak with someone who actually is closely familiar with the program.
Yeah, and the other thing I would have students do is Google by interest. Sometimes students are overly affected by prestigious names, or where their friends
Mm-hmm.
are going, or whether they're going to get credit. And again, what we're wanting students to do is explore areas of passion. So not just looking at, oh, where are their summer college experiences, but also Googling by the area of expertise. Hey, they might find an internship program, or they might find an opportunity to do some service within within that realm as well.
Right.
All right, one more question here. Let's see. When do you suggest that families start the search process? I've noticed earlier and earlier dates regarding summer applications, etc.
Yes, I would say the earlier the better. Our programs have rolling admission, and we started taking applications on December 2nd, for example. For programs like this, often there might be rolling admissions, but the courses that students can sign up for may fill up very quickly, even when we're still accepting applications. The earlier that they can, the better. If they're looking at a summer program, so for example, uh, for summer 2014, we had inquiries in the fall or early in the fall. So students and parents are getting an earlier and earlier start on this, and so this means that spaces could fill up quickly.
Yeah, I just wanted to add something about the question that was asked earlier about online and Coursera programs. And I just wanted to say that while online courses are great for lower level college work, those courses oftentimes lack the peer and the instructor input and back and forth and discourse. So that's something to keep in mind as well, with regard to the benefits outside of an online experience that a student has when engaged in a classroom environment.
Mm-hmm.
Next question, can a student enroll in one course and then audit another? Or more generally speaking, what's kind of the course enrollment flexibility with Duke's programs as well as summer programs in general?
Well, with Duke's programs, with our programs, the summer college for high school students, they would not be able to audit a class. They would enroll in a 4-credit class during the day. So they would be in a class with other Duke students, and they would be getting a grade and credit for that class. But they would not be able to, nor would they have time to audit another class. And this is going to be typical across the board. It's a college-level class at a very elite institution, so it's going to come with its own challenges, and especially for a student who has not been in college before. And so that is not something that we would encourage students to do, and in fact, we would not allow them to do that.
All right, final question. Are there certain age restrictions that parents should be aware of in terms of students being too old or too young to attend different summer programs?
Well, generally speaking, they are going to be for high school age. The ones the programs that I work with are going to be for high school students. We have youth programs as well on this screen that you can see right now. The second link there, the youth programs. Students can be younger than high school age, but just speaking of our program specifically, our summer college for high school students, it is for current 10th and 11th grade students. So they have to be currently in 10th or 11th grade. We could consider international students who are in the 12th grade as long as they are not planning on going to an American university in the fall. With our academy program, it is open to students who are currently in 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grades. 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. But in these two cases, the programs that I work with, they do need to be in high school when they apply.
Great. Well, thank you, Stephen. Thank you.
Rob, I'm noticing that one of our panelists Rob, I just
Yeah.
wanted to say I'm noticing that one of our panelists, Thomas Patterson, has been muted, and I know that he was muted by you. I'm wondering if you could unmute Thomas to see if he had anything to add regarding the youth programs or the non-credit programs.
Absolutely. He should be good to go here.
Okay, let me check. Thomas, are you there?
I'm here. Thanks, guys. It's Thomas Patterson, Program Director for the Duke Youth Programs. I've certainly enjoyed being part of this webinar, and I would like to just show my support for the youth programs and let you know that if you have any questions about that particular program, I am available to respond to your questions. And as mentioned, if those programs are for personal and academic enrichment, one of the things that I really stress in those programs is that provides an opportunity for students to genuinely pursue their passions and their interests and to enjoy being part of an academic environment as well as an environment that provides a lot of fun and entertainment to meet that particular need in students. One of the things that is attractive for these programs is that they have an opportunity to experience college life, and in this case, to see Duke University, which is a good draw for the programs. And so any program should also give students a chance to see the campus because it might be one of their college's choices later in life. So moving forward, if you have any other questions about these particular programs for high school students, and I'll just put a plug and say that we also offer camps for middle school students, feel free to contact me and I'll be glad to lend my support and my help to the students in your program. Thanks for this opportunity.
Great, thanks, Thomas. Any final questions before we get going? Going once, going twice. All right, well, thank you, everyone, both to our wonderful presenters as well as to all our attendees for all your great questions and engagement. As mentioned, we will send a follow-up email with more information and contact information for our Duke Summer Session presenters. So thank you, everyone, and have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.